That's right, you Joy. How you doing? Evidently, these notices aren't going out, but that's how it's always been kind of glitchy like that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Rain last night, real windy today, which they predicted. Still great weather. Yeah, that's what a lot of people have been saying. Yep. Hey Chastity, how you doing? How's your day going? Still nice out though. Did you get a chance to watch the new interviews? I've been doing this about 8 years. Well, I've kind of been doing it my whole life, but there was no place to upload. Maybe longer than that, like 9 years. There was no place to upload like talking to people, so I didn't. But recording it probably about that long. Are you thinking about doing it yourself? Oh yeah, I was down in Richmond yesterday. Yep. Yeah, I got that barbecue from that. What is it? City Barbecue? That's close to Richmond, I think, or in between Richmond and Lexington. That's excellent barbecue, by the way. Hey, Michigander man, how you doing? Beautiful country around here. It's crazy how these horse farms just go forever, each direction you go from Lexington. Well, I think you could do it, Chastity. I think you could. Oh, celebrity grave sites? Where is that at? Where'd you do that? Yeah, that's as good a. I'm not a big brisket fan, but it was recommended to me from some people that lived out in Paris. And that place was packed last night, jam packed inside. The curbside was jam packed. The pick it up yourself was jam packed. So, and it was a great presentation. When you walk in there, you can see them preparing all the stuff, and it was excellent. Oh, George Papard, interesting. Oh, okay, that's cool. Good for you. My mother was a fan of George Papard. You know, I'll tell you, I don't know if you've looked at it, but it's a famous cemetery, and that's Woodmere in Detroit. Woodmere. Have you done that? Yeah, I actually was going to do that. You know, like the car moguls, that kind of thing, and I just never got around to doing it. I had them all marked out. When you go in Woodmere, they'll give you like a map of the inside of the cemetery, which helps. Other than that, you'll be in there the rest of your life trying to find them. I mean, it's pretty easy to find the wealthy people that have passed. You know, they usually have a gravestone that's about 30 feet tall. Henry Ford was Henry Ford buried in Michigan Memorial? Oh yeah, you'd really enjoy it there. It's a beautiful cemetery, rich history. Hey Emma, how you doing? They actually have, you know, those little books that they do at different areas. There's actually one on Woodmere Cemetery. I think I have an extra copy of it, which I'd be fine with sending you. I had one I didn't know I had, and then I bought another one. Yeah, it was raining last night. Still warm though. Beautiful day today. I mean, it is windy, but I can live with this. Really nice. Oh, good for you. How you feeling, Daisy? Feeling okay? Daisy, do you have a Barnes and Noble near you? Is there one you when you go to get books, or do you order them online, or do you go to the store, or are you into books? Oh, good, Snatch. Nah, well, I tell people all the time, be thick-skinned. You're going to get a lot of wackos that come out of the woodwork. They're going to hate whatever you do, so be prepared. And it's really fun overall. I would say 85% of the people are a good experience, and you got 15 as stalkers and wackos and troublemakers. But just ignore them. What I do is I've got it now where I get emails from people I know, and if I don't know them, they're screened first. And if it's some negative, nasty email, I just delete them. It's the same with the wacko channels. Oh, you do? Okay. Yeah, send me your address. Do you have my email address? I know I have two of them. They're like 20 bucks or something like that. It's like no big expensive book, but I don't need two. Yeah, sure. Yeah, email them anytime you want. I mean, just get some photos. You know, get a nice channel. Get set up and have fun. I just started mine basically as a place to upload my own interests. I never planned on like having a channel anybody watch. Uh, I could have more subscribers, but a lot of people don't like the videos I upload of my dog and things I eat. You know, if money was the game, all I would do was interviews. But I'm doing the same thing now I did when I started. There's a theory on YouTube that you should never delete any comments, but I'm just not going to do that. You know, controversy, it's the Jerry Springer effect. You get people arguing, you know, one guy thinks prostitutes should be in jail, another one thinks they should be rehabbed and deserve a chance. And that's the kind of dialogue that creates a lot of action, but I'm not interested in that. Anybody that makes negative comments or is rude or inconsiderate, I just delete them. No, I don't think I don't know why they want to write a book about me. You kidding? No, they haven't. But thank you. Oh, you'll get tots. Yeah, tots. Yeah, yeah. Thick skin helps. Yeah, just go on, have fun, delete the bad people, and embrace and support the good people. And I pay attention to what people say. I mean, I had 50 subscribers like forever. I've had 3 or 4 years. Uh, and the videos that ended up getting popular on my channel sat around for years too. Nobody watched them. Once one takes off and you get a viral video, which is basically luck, everybody thinks it's great content and being nice and using good camera equipment. That's got a little to do with it, not a lot. It's mostly luck. I refer to it as the internet musical chairs. When the song quit playing, I sat down and got lucky with a video. And then once you get plugged into the recommended list on YouTube, you're home free. I'm not bragging, but I'll just show you how it happens. I have a very basic run and gun channel, not much editing, all sorts of different things. I don't do any of the promotions they want me to do. I don't tag any of my videos. When I upload a video, all I put on there is the title and that's it. I don't do any extras. I do the bare minimum. And I know I got 2,100 subscribers in about 3 days, which I would agree with you. I probably don't deserve them. But once you get canned in that system, they just seem to come out of the woodwork. I have way more viewers than I have subscribers because, as I said, people don't like a lot of my content. And they don't want to get up in the morning and see an egg salad sandwich, a rack of ribs, and Daisy rolling in the grass. I don't blame them. I mean, it's your choice what you want to subscribe to and what you want to wake up to. I'm the same way. I don't really watch too many channels as much as I used to because I spend my off time deleting negative comments. It takes a lot of time. You'll be shocked how long it takes to have a YouTube channel to keep on it, to make sure there's not some wacko on there causing trouble. It's a lot more time consuming than people think. The interviewing part and being out here doing this is the easy part. Yeah, they're probably asleep, Frankie. Yeah. Hey, Claudia. Yeah, that sounds good. The way I do it I'll give you an example on meeting people. Like, I'm pretty much like a loner guy. And I will meet up with people if it's not too much out of the way. I don't mean to sound like a jerk, but I learned a long time ago, I don't really like making plans with people. Because what'll happen is I kind of go where the wind takes me. I change my mind every other hour. So if somebody said to me, hey, could you meet me for lunch tomorrow at noon? I know better than to say yes. Because something may come up between now and then. I don't want to miss it. And my whole next 24 hours is predicated on meeting them at noon when I may not want to be anywhere near there. I'll give you an example. There's a lady that lives right here in Louisville. And we were talking Friday night in the chat. She lives here in Louisville. And I said, hey, look, let's just take it how it goes. If she said she had some time on Saturday, I said, if you're around and you feel like it, yeah, you can just get a hold of me and I'll meet you for a coffee. If I'm not around, well, then we won't be able to do it. But let's just wing it. I don't mind meeting people, but under those kind of circumstances. I hate getting things etched in stone. So that's how I do it. Also, Michigan man, are you going to do videos or are you going to do photography? Do you know which one you're going to do? You're going to do both. No, I never have. I never felt scared. No. I mean, sometimes you think this doesn't look good. But it's human behavior, right? It's interesting how you perceive things. I've got a book I just ordered. I knew this already. But, it depends where people come from, where you've been, how have you experienced the area, that kind of thing. So, a situation, there's an interview I did about a year ago up on 6 Mile in John R. in Detroit, which is kind of a desolate area. There's a lot of transgender people that hang out there, and I was going to get a few interviews. And there were 3 older people that came up and got in a line and were staring at me, and there were a couple other guys just off to the side looking at me too. Now, to me, I didn't think anything of it, but as somebody that hasn't been in that situation a lot of the time, they thought that, didn't you think you were going to get robbed or murdered? Not at all. But see, it's their perception of how that looked to them based on their life experiences. Where with me, it happened all the time. So, but there are times when I think this does not look good. There are times where places that I won't go because I don't want to be trapped in the back of a dead end road or something like that. So I'm careful about it, I think. There's risk in everything, right? Oh, thank you. Yeah, hey Patricia. Yeah, I just take it like it is. I don't force conversations. Like, honest, you would think that, well, maybe my Appalachia trip was a waste of time. Not at all. I got to see that area. I got to photograph it. I got to experience it. But I realized pretty early into it that, there's no place to pull over, no place to congregate, and no place to really meet people. They're really small towns. Almost everything's out of business. Uh, unless you got some kind of hookup, the likelihood of me just randomly meeting someone in those areas is pretty low. And I didn't meet anybody that I was able to talk to. So for a guy like me that's just run and gun, that doesn't like making plans, that was not a good place for me. But I don't regret going there. I'm glad that I did. Yeah, I was in Philly about 5 years ago. But again, it's the same problem. I mean, it's feast or famine. Like, either I'm out in the country in the mountains where there's 500 people and almost everything's out of business. I'm isolated there, or it's a big city where if I drive there, there's nowhere to park, that kind of thing. What I would like to do maybe later on is like just fly into places, just take a Uber or something, get a hotel downtown and just be able to walk out my hotel and then go walk around, because Detroit's a little spread out, it's a little different, but when you look in New Jersey and Philadelphia and stuff like that, it's like LA. It's just like having a car down there is a burden. Chicago's the same way. Who's that, Karen? Is there somebody bothering you out there? Hey, Em, how you doing? No, you don't know what you're talking about, Em Oz. The money probably goes for, things that you don't want it to sometimes, but I'm out here. I do it all the time. I know what they spend the money on plenty of times. You don't. So it's an ignorant statement to make. I can understand some concern that all the money's going to drugs, which is just nonsense. You don't have anything to base that on. You don't have any idea. Yeah, Claudia, you're probably right about that. Yep. Yeah. But your situations are different than theirs. As I've said, I know what they buy with the money they're given. You don't. So those may be the feelings you have, but I've been there. You haven't. I'm not saying that it always goes for a good purpose, but most of the time it does. Yeah, Illinois would be good. Oh, good for you, Michigander, man. That's cool. Oh, that's good, Karen. It's not a fact either. It was a fact in the situations that you were in, not the situations other people are in. I've watched them pay rent, pay their room, pay their cell phone bill, buy food, Monster drinks, whatever they want. Yeah, I mean, I find it interesting, Larry. I find it interesting talking to him. I just talked to a guy here when I got a coffee this morning. I was a little early to get here, so I got a coffee, and here was a guy standing on the corner, so I interviewed him. Well, Oz, it's conjecture on your part. You don't know what goes on there. You're just making an inference based on a 5-minute interview. It's faulty. I'm sure some of the money does go for drugs, but I can tell you that a lot of it doesn't. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Just like not pay them, give them some money for a brief interview, or if people want to send them things? I mean, what's your solution to this? Bring a mind reader with me? It's not a perfect situation. I got in an argument with these Christian kooks when I was out in Billings, Montana. Same type deal. Oh, thank you, country. They do help them. I mean, there's a lot of mental illness. There's a lot of, the country's broke. I mean, this house of cards was collapsing with regard to mental health back in the 70s and 80s. Either you're in jail or you're on the street. There's no in between like there used to be. No, you didn't. Scroll back and reread your comments. That's not what you said at all. Well, you know how I feel because I'm the guy doing the interview and giving him the money. It's pretty obvious. We're talking about how you feel and how you made a statement based on little or no information. Hey, Pauline. Yeah, I mean, when you do stuff like this, you're going to get it from all angles. Anybody that thinks that at $5 or $10 to an alcoholic or a drug addict is enabling them has a screw loose and needs to be counseled. Take care, Michigander, ma'am. Yep. Thank you. Yeah, Glenn, I wouldn't really say that. Hey, Stephanie. I wouldn't really say that I'm doing any good. I mean, it basically comes down to, being interested how they got there, how they stay there, that kind of thing. And, I mean, I help them if I can in a small way, but I'm not out to make it look like I'm doing some great service to mankind by just being kind for 5 minutes. I don't want to take credit for something that's that minuscule. Yeah, I understand that. Hey, Mike, hey, by the way, I didn't upload the Nike missile-based video per your request. I don't know what you're interested in that, but it wasn't that big a deal, so I didn't upload it. Yeah, I lived in Atlanta for a while. Yep, I owned a house up in Woodstock. Yeah. I got a buddy of mine that lives in Madison. I mean, the truth of the matter is, believe me, I've thought of this before. And it is not a good feeling to think that the money you're giving them, even if it's $1, is going to drugs. But, there's a bigger purpose to it. And I don't think that low denomination. I mean, you listen to the people that I interview, it's nothing for them to go to $200, $300, $400 a day for a drug habit or $50 a day for an alcohol habit. I give them $10 for an interview, and I'm the bad guy. I'm the enabler. Believe me, $10 in the whole scheme of things isn't going to change anything. And they were out there way before I met them, and they're going to be way out there after. Hopefully not, but it's tough to get off the streets. That's the argument I use, Token, because when I was out in Billings, I'm interviewing some of those Native Americans, and there was a food truck out in the parking lot. If they'd approached me right, it probably would have been a different conversation. But, I'm tired sometimes when I'm on the road, and it's not a good time to start an argument. So I get out there and I interview a couple guys, and here comes this kind of a middle-aged white lady, walks over to me, and she doesn't say, "Hey, how you doing? I just wondered you." She says, "Oh, that's what I thought. You're the enabler." It's like, what are you talking about? She said, "You're enabling these alcoholic Native Americans." So it all went downhill after that. Hey Dolly, how you doing? Yeah, he is going to be fired. I hope he is fired. I don't think he should have been hired to begin with. If you look back at his history, first of all, he's a jerk. Secondly, he got lucky at Stanford, and he got lucky with the 49ers. You know, the 49ers were going to can him too, and he got out of Dodge. So I think you got to find the real Jim Harbaugh. Can't coach and can't recruit. That happens. I mean, it's the luck of the draw. You get students and athletes that commit to programs, and it wasn't because of anything you did. They had a girlfriend they liked, or they had a big swimming pool, and before you know it, you're winning national championships. Now, when you win multiple national championships, that says something. Nick Saban, another jerk, but he can recruit. So I'm glad they're getting rid of Harbaugh. The bad news is Michigan doesn't really care if you win or lose. They care if you're filling those seats. That's why he's hung in there as long as he has. They even extended his contract before the first one expired. I think they ought to can that AD too. I think the Lions ought to can their general manager as well. Fabulous rooms, okay. Oh, okay. I'll check that out, Larry. Oh, I didn't see that. Okay. Let me know if I should be blocking people. Oh, Harry. I see you, Harry. Goodbye, Harry. Harry, you could never put that together on your own. Mary, let me get him the next time so I can ban him permanently. Yeah, they can use my name. I don't care. The truth of the matter is they don't need to use my name. Look at all these hate channels that come up. YouTube doesn't do anything about it. Yeah, wasn't that interesting, Mike? Yeah, he's actually a good guy. You know, it's funny. You should say that. So you saw the interview. So I went over and I was, parked. It was a corner of a liquor store parking lot. And I'm getting ready in the van, and he like waves to me. I'm ready to get in the van. He comes over, and he's like, and he came up and he gave me a big hug, and he wanted to shake my hand. And he said, "I'm sorry, brother. I was really rude to you, and I apologize to my Lord and Savior and you," which I thought was kind of cool. I didn't really consider that rude, but look, I know where these people are coming from. If you look at the guy that I interviewed from looked like Jeff Bridges, he didn't want to talk to me at the beginning. He said, "Nah, it's okay." It's like, okay, I never push it, believe me. And as I was driving away, a guy that I had interviewed the day before, Justin, said, hey Tom, come back here. He'd like to talk to you. So it was kind of cool. No, not really, Larry. No. Yeah, a little short. Yeah, it was kind of short. That happens from time to time. I mean, honestly, I can have a 30-second interview and I'm fine with it. I mean, there's no coaching. I'm not telling anybody this is how I want you to act. If a guy's having a bad mood or a lady's having a bad mood, and they just need the money and that's why they consented to talk and they tell me to go to hell, that's just as good to me as a 10-minute interesting interview like with Christina. I'm fine with it. It's what it is. You know what I mean? I don't try to turn something into something that's not. I can handle a short, curt interview. I'm not going to keep trying to get my money's worth. Yeah, maybe Justin was it wasn't Justin, it was the guy the day before. There were two of them. He was the guy that didn't look in the camera directly. Maybe I got his name wrong. Didn't look in the camera directly. I thought Justin was cool too. It's funny how I had that happen with a Native American when I was out there out west. Nice looking guy, well spoken, seemed pretty sharp, and then it goes off into these flying saucers, and hey, I'm fine with it. I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to head anybody down any particular path. If they want to talk about 5G and getting into your brain and working with biological warfare, have at it. Yeah. There's something wrong with Harry. Harry's probably Laura in Las Vegas. Yeah, I'm trying to get it, and that's sometimes easier said than done. Boy, it's getting warm out now. It's hot in here. Daisy's not a big fan of the wind. I hope I'm wrong, but even in a place like where I'm at, see, she just went in the back. Even in a place like where I'm at, this COVID's going through the roof. Yeah, I mean, I don't keep my composure other times when the camera's off. I get pissed and annoyed and that kind of thing. But in the course of an interview, I mean, I know what you mean, and I'm not normally like that. I'm not really a patient person. I don't know. I kind of like shift gears unintentionally when I'm interviewing somebody. I want it to be like, I don't want to pull away and them thinking, God, I wish I wouldn't have talked to that guy. I'm not a ball buster and trying to get them to reveal their deep, dark secrets. Really, it's kind of like a meet and greet. How you doing? How'd you get here? Here's $10. What's your favorite movie? If they want to keep on talking like Christina did, I'm fine with it. But if they don't, I'm fine with that as well. Nothing scripted. I think so, George. Yeah. Yeah, I really like my room. Yeah. They tricked me again. I didn't get the business king. I got the standard king. Really, if you're drinking a beer, it's not cold when you get about halfway through anyway, so I can live with it. You drink that stout beer like if you're in Europe or something, it's not cold to begin with, so I pretend that I was in Europe. Yeah, windy like here today. I just got an interview about 15 minutes ago, and I got this Starbucks coffee. Guy was standing on the corner. Nice guy, just got out of prison. All these people are nice, but you're meeting someone in a good environment. I mean, they could have been Jack the Ripper and they're out panhandling and they know they're going to get some money, so that's why it always seems like it's a nice dialogue, because it is. There's nothing at risk. It's all spelled out, and that would get most everybody in a good mood. Yeah, Christina had beautiful eyes. Who's that male actor she reminds me of? His name's Ray something. Is it Lolita, or starts with an L? He's got kind of those blue eyes and that dark eyelashes around him. You know who I'm talking about? He's been an actor forever. Ray something. He's been in a couple like Godfather type movies. She reminded me of him. I couldn't think of it yesterday. I liked her. Oh, is it Stephanie? Oh yeah, I bet these tents are probably blowing over everywhere, See these beautiful red leaves on these maple trees still? Yeah, that's one thing you noticed. That's a big clue, and you pay attention, Mike, to like no childhood memories in the interviews. They're always kind of like solemn and life sucks and can we get this over with? Yeah, you're exactly right. That comes up a lot. No childhood memories. Yeah, no, your favorite childhood memory. Well, I paid for another night today because I wanted to stay here today. Kind of slept in, and I wasn't really sure how this crazy windy day was going to pan out. When I go to another place, I always kind of like check it out a little bit. And what I learned a long time ago is I don't I don't tie myself into a reservation and guess most of the time, unless I get to eyeball it. Like I like a place where I can take Daisy out, no problem. I don't like going through a lobby if I have to. And I like being near a coffee shop, not too far from a bookstore. So actually this Lexington, I do have to get on the expressway and it's busy as hell. But it is a good setup for me. Good restaurants. I'm right around the corner from where I got most of the interviews. Not too far from a Barnes & Noble. A lot of good places to eat. That sushi place is here. So I like it here. It's a cheap rate compared to most places. So there's not a big incentive for me to move. Everything here I like. It's here and it's reasonable. Beautiful state, Jay. Yeah, I've been in New York City, not in about 25 years though, but quite a bit. Yeah, Mike, it's one thing about Lexington. Any direction you go, if you look at the suburbs like Paris to the east, Richmond to the south, Winchester, anywhere you go, first of all, the city's beautiful. You saw those sculptures of the Thoroughbred Park, all super clean. And the second you get out of the city, it's just miles and miles, like at least 20 miles each way of beautiful horse farms. And if you look on a map of Kentucky, you'll see that all those areas, no matter which way you go, are designated as scenic roads by the state. It's the same designation if you were driving down through the Rocky Mountains. It's just beautiful areas. And, all manicured. And, I was talking to a lady yesterday, and there's a lot of money down here. The guy that owned the one of the Texas NFL teams, not Jerry Jones, the other guy, he bought 10 horse farms and put them all together. And the lady was telling me that most of the time Ted Turner owned a big place, and his daughter ran a buffalo ranch here. And she said that most of these people want to remain anonymous, that you don't really know who owns the farms. They're in corporations and DBAs and that kind of thing. And these people like to just go out and mingle with the everyday Joe. She also said that they never really have a shortage of funding for schools. They never have millages, referendums, because all the school does is go to these rich billionaires and say, hey, we need some money for this, new swimming pool, and they write them a check. Which I kind of tend to believe is true because everything is like first class. They support the area. But it's really a great quality of life. I would live down here in a second, and that's the only time I've ever said that about anywhere I've traveled. I think Montana's beautiful, but I wouldn't want to live there. I feel the same way with Alaska. This is nice here, and it's reasonable. Yeah, Mary, no problem. I'd interview you, but I don't want to bore everybody. Yeah, I got a Starbucks. I'm not really a Starbucks fan, but that's one thing that's not the greatest here, but I can live with it. Getting a coffee is like not that easy at this location. And these Starbucks, I don't care where you go. I've been in Kentucky for a week. Tuesday, I think. Monday. Yeah, a week Monday. These Starbucks, if you get there 1 second after they open, there's a line. They're busy as hell. I did get a Big coffee when I first got here up at Georgetown, but it's quite a ways out of the way, and there's not much in between it. Yeah, all over Maine. I have, yep. Yeah, I love Maine, yep. Hey, Intellectual, how you doing? Yeah, Hilton Head. I got a buddy of mine just bought a house there. Hilton Head. They're always bugging me to come out and visit, but I probably never will. I'm not into that beach stuff, to be honest with you, that kind of life. I mean, it's okay, but it's not really for me. I mean, I wouldn't mind walking around the beach late at night, but that's about it. I'm not interested, like, in, expensive restaurants, and just that whole scene's, like, boring to me. It's a nice place. I'm not knocking it, but thank you. I probably will get out there someday. But so far, I always find an excuse to do it. There's a guy that owns a franchise where I live, and he wanted me to go to Gulf Shores, Alabama, for a whole month back in February or March, and I couldn't do it. That guy hasn't talked to me since. I don't know whether it hurt his feelings or what. I'm just not into hanging out with people in a resort community. I would just be bored out of my mind. Yeah, now he doesn't live on the ocean, but he lives like 75 feet from it, has an easement. I know his house, he paid $1 million for it like 4 or 5 months ago, which really doesn't get you like a lot when you're that close to the water. But it's an attractive place if you're into that. That kind of stuff doesn't do a thing for me. I'd be much more inclined to visit a guy that was living in a tent in the middle of St. Louis than somebody in Hilton Head in $1 million home. I don't know why it doesn't excite me, but it doesn't. I mean, you can go there and you don't need to be worried about getting murdered. I mean, it's a nice place. I mean, you know how they lock down that island when a hurricane comes. They do the same thing in Palm Beach, Florida. So it has some tremendous advantages. You can get good food. You feel safe. I wish they'd just put you could have a tent on the beach or something. Then I think that'd be cool. Yeah, safe but not so interesting. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yep. Yeah, boring and hot. Yeah, when I first bought my place down in Florida, you think when you go down there, of course I was a lot younger then, you're just gonna, you call all your friends, hey, it's January, I'm down here, I got a parrot on my shoulder and I'm drinking a pina colada on the beach. Man, is this a great day? How's your day going? Oh, it's 10 below and the roads are icy? Oh, okay. And then once that wears off, I have learned that I don't ever want to live any place where tourists come to visit. That would drive me nuts. You want to get in a traffic jam, go to St. Augustine, Florida in January or February. Just terrible. I mean, here you got a rich historical city that's interesting, and it takes you an hour and a half to get through town. Not for me. Now, the other extreme of that is, you have these ideas, at least I did in your mind, of the Appalachian Mountains. And you think of the dew dropping off the mountain in the morning and the sun coming up and you're humming Coal Miner's Daughter to yourself and eating grits and homemade pancakes, and you're thinking, this is it, boy, this is the mountain life. This is just how they portrayed it in movies and in books that I've read. I really love this mountain life. But to me, you couldn't give me the mountain life. I do find it interesting how they cut those highways through the mountains, but first of all, you're robbed out of a lot of daylight in the morning and in the evening because the mountains, you're down low. I bet I didn't see 3 restaurants in those mountains towns, in all of them. And this is over about 600 miles of driving. Everything's closed, out of business. If you like dollar stores, you're in luck. Couple gas stations, beer, cigarettes, tons of blight, poverty, just people living in places. I pulled into 2 places I thought were vacant and people were living there. It just isn't for me. I wish the best for the people that live there, but if you wanted to give me a 2-week free stay in the mountains, I would give it away. I wouldn't like that life. And the same for Montana. I think it's beautiful. I love it. I like being out there, but you have these ideas of a cattle ranch. You could just look out and see the guys working the cattle and just be out there and no traffic. Yeah, you go crazy. Go absolutely apeshit crazy. I know it's nothing out west to drive 125 miles to a Walmart. Forget that. I've learned that places like Lexington are perfect for me. It's not a Detroit, it's not a Chicago, it's not a Miami, it's Lexington. Just the right size. You're kind of centrally located. Temperate climate, not too hot, not too cold. I mean, I think I'd go nuts. That's why I buy these books at Barnes and Noble, because once they go out, it's going to be a problem for new books, not used, even though they're struggling as well. Yeah, I've thought about going up to. I thought about going doing Cincinnati. I've never really had like, a lot of it is unless you got tons of time, you take what you can get on an experience for someplace. Cincinnati to me, I've never really liked what I've experienced there. No, maybe I was in the wrong part. That's possible. You just, all I know is that the time it's like this isn't for me. Now, if somebody knows of a place that would lend itself to my interest, I'm all ears, because, I could go by Cincinnati, but I love Cleveland. Somebody said the Dayton's pretty good. Yeah. And I've had houses out in the middle of nowhere, and they were the biggest mistakes I ever made in my life. That you start naming the birds, and looking forward to meeting your favorite squirrel, and being worried every time you leave that there's everything's going to be stripped out of your home when you come back from a 2-week vacation because people drive by there and realize nobody's home. Yeah, this isolation. As I said, I got dropped off by an airplane for 11 and a half weeks in Alaska and didn't see anybody the whole time. And that cured me of any of these romantic ideas you have about living off the land. I was about ready to go batshit crazy the 4th day into it. And I had damn near 3 months to go, 2.5 months to go. Oh, is it nice, Claudia? But even you look at like the town I was in yesterday, at Winchester. That's basically kind of a microcosm of what you would expect in a lot of places in the country. Just good old towns. I bet in the 30s and 40s that was the place to live. You look at the architecture and the detail in the buildings, and then it's like Michigan and Illinois and Indiana and everywhere else. It's just kind of falling apart. You got people hanging in there. And, when everything starts turning into a dollar store, a pizza place, a gas station, or a liquor store, all this stuff is very predictable based on, I'll tell you a good rule of thumb, and that is occupancy rate for commercial space in towns. That's a pretty good indicator. You can actually play it safe. If you look where there's a Barnes & Noble or a California Pizza Kitchen or a P.F. Chang's, that's going to speak volumes of the area you're in. And believe it or not, that's kind of things that I look for when I decide if I'm going to stay at a place or not. These companies spend tons of money on studying the demographics on whether or not that's going to be a viable place to live, to do business. And a lot goes into it. And I find it very accurate. Yeah, particularly at Barnes & Noble. They crunch the numbers, and before they go into an area, they pretty much know what they're going to get as far as a customer base. And to me, it's good, sound information. You can't show me any place where there's a Barnes & Noble that isn't pretty good area. Not rich, not upper middle class, just a decent place to hang around. Hey, Robin. It is hard to make a living, yeah. Yeah, being out in the middle of nowhere is, it's the old adage, good fences make good neighbors. There's an element of truth to that. Hear those gates banging over on that restaurant? I saw one of those large fake potted rubber plants on the side of the expressway driving down here. Probably blew out of somebody's pickup truck when they were moving. One thing I like about this place a lot of hardwoods, maple, walnut. I'm a little bit surprised that they plant these trees in a commercial establishment because these leaves are a pain in the ass. Usually that's a big no-no in a newer development. You know, you want those trees that like don't shed many leaves. I mean, they are colorful and beautiful, but you pay dearly for it. Mainly leaves all over the place. Yeah, Miranda. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean those areas are hard to earn a dollar. That's exactly right. I bought a book. I showed it the other night about how people got ripped off in Appalachia, which probably is 100% true. Coal companies, that kind of thing. See people running around in shirts today. You don't need a coat. Yeah, hard to earn a dollar. Like I said, when you go through places like eastern Kentucky, southeastern Kentucky, down around the Virginia border, I mean, you got a handful of people driving new vehicles, but most of the new vehicles are owned by giant corporations or the government. It's the city or the county or the state, and they all have brand new F-250 pickup trucks with the light kit on it, and everybody else is driving a junker. I mean, that says a lot. Yeah, I think you should consider this place. I've been all over the place, and I would say this is the first time that I would consider moving to a place like this. I like everything about it. Everything. Now, what you won't have down here is these crystal clear streams and rivers like we have up in West Branch. But so what? It's not like I'm swimming in there with a pair of flippers and goggles every day of the week. And I'm not a fisherman. And it may just be this unseasonably warm weather, or I got lucky, but you saw that whole tree full of American brown sparrows, North American brown sparrows. The birds all over the place down here. Yeah, the state police got sued in that in Michigan and lost. You can actually have all your stuff forfeited and not be convicted. I forget what the name of that is. It's not replevin. There's a way they can seize all your stuff if they think it's related to drug or criminal activity. See you, Mary. Yeah, I'm a basketball fan too, although college athletics has really changed. I remember the good old days, man, when the Final Four meant something and everybody wasn't leaving early. I don't blame them for leaving early. If you're a talented athlete, but as a consumer, as a spectator, I wish they'd have stayed. It was so much more exciting back in the day. NCAA tournament really meant something. Now it's kind of like a bunch of like super talented guys, but not the creme de la creme. 54, that's pretty good. Big time, JP. Huge. Big time. Yeah, the standalone retail establishment is in deep trouble. I'm surprised Barnes and Noble's hung in there as long as they have. My guess would be they've got their creditors by the balls, and they can't afford to let them go under. A lot of people operate that way. Trump has done his fair share of that. I knew a guy that was a mill manager of a couple paper companies, and he told me this 30 years ago. Once you have your creditors by the balls, it isn't like you and I falling behind in our car payment. They'll come get that damn thing whenever they feel like it. When you're a big business and you've got some bank by the balls, they can't afford to let you go out of business because it's going to put them out of business or it's going to put a big dent in their portfolio. So even though you're losing money, they're still giving you money to meet payroll and stuff because they're hoping things are going to get better. Look up the bankruptcy records when Borders went bankrupt. Now, Kmart ended up buying them, but if you look at the numbers, you're not going to believe how many people that Borders as a corporation stiffed. I forgot what the dollar amount was with Simon Schuster, but they were getting things on credit forever, and they stiffed a ton of creditors. Yeah, I'm at the one off Manowar. I think it's the only one. I think it's the only one around. Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to sign off here, you guys. Check out a few books, and this is turning out to be a nicer day than I thought. Looks like a little rain out to the west. We'll find out. So have a good day. I already got one interview. I hope to get some more. Glad I got my dead cat on my camera. You wouldn't be able to hear a thing. Hey, Rita. Yeah, see you, Mike. Yeah, country. Yeah, it's beautiful out around there. Yep. Have a good day. Yep. All right, Dolly. LA, you're not on here by chance, are you? Uh, is there another one around Lexington? Is there another one? Because I think that there may be only one. Yeah, I'll look though. Thank you. Okay, Rita. Yep. Take it easy. All right. Take care, you guys. All right, Lana. Thank you. See you, Mitzi.